On YouTube, it's your boy Dorktron Brian. I have here with Sergio. I'm going to be sharing his Eosmon deck profile. Really interesting deck. I feel like he's gotten his ratios to peak, and I just wanted to share with you guys.
Alright, so first disclaimer on this Eosmon deck. It is very fun. Emphasis on fun. Okay? Compared to the other meta decks, it will not keep up. I'll say that right now. But it is very fun. It's very interactive with all the combos that it has to offer. So we will go over the babies. Babies that I'm running right now are 4 Pinamons and 1 Argomon. I'm actually thinking of switching it over for a 4-to-1, 4 Argomon, 1 Pinamon, because Pinamon, you have to swing at an opponent's Digimon so you can get a draw. And the more I play this deck, the more I realize that really does not happen. But every time I have an Argomon under and I restand, I gain an extra memory, and memory in this deck is huge. So I am going to be switching to 4 Argomon, 1 Pinamon. But yeah, those are the babies for the deck right now. Let's go ahead and go with the rookies. We have 4 Morphmons. Morphmon, you swing. When it dies, reveal the top 5 cards of your deck, add 1 Manoa and 1 Eosmon, and then put the rest at the bottom of your deck. I mean, when this dies, you're always going to pick up something. Either your Tamer or an Eosmon. It can be your level 3 Eosmon, your level 5 Eosmon, or your level 6 Eosmon. I mean, this just gets you the pieces that you need. Next, we are running 3 Wormmons, kind of like this Morphmon's cousin, basically. This one, when it dies, you can add up to a level 4 or 5 to your hand. So you add, you guessed it, an Eosmon level 4 and Eosmon level 5 to your hand. It can't pick up the 6. This one does pick up the 6, but I mean, it's just another way for you to get what you need in your hands. Surprisingly enough, there are games where you see your green package a lot more than your Eosmons. So that does happen. We have 2 Terriermons as your memory blockers. You stop all the memory boosts, or different ways that people gain memory. You will see this is the deck that I use against Dorktron when he was playing Courage, and it gets really fun. It really does get fun. And just a one-of the Goblimon. I like my vanillas. I like my 2-drops because sometimes you start your hand, you have 4 level 5 Eosmons and then this. I'd rather just go ahead and play this, set them to 2 instead of setting them to 5. Then we have our level 4 lineup. Our level 4 lineup is just a couple Terriermons. It's just another way to go up the chain, because there is a combo with Eosmon itself where you can be hitting for a lot. This just turbos you to your level 6, and it's a blocker. It gets you another draw. A very basic blocker. Now we go into Eosmons. So arguably the best Eosmon of the Eosmons. This one is the 4-drop. It's the level 4, so it is on play. When you on play, you and your opponent can play a Tamer. Your level 6 resolves around how many Tamers are on the field between both opponents. So hard play it, they get a Tamer, you get a Tamer. There is a joke going around that every time I do play this, my opponent just happens not to have a Tamer in hand, so I always plus off it. But there are times where I play it and I put a Tamer and then he puts a Tamer and then that sets him up for the next turn. So it's very, you got to be careful with this card. You can only play 4 of these because it doesn't have the text that the other one has. But what's really good about it is the inheritable is that when you attack, you can play a Tamer. So generally you want to have your stack with this. I mean, if you have to hard play it, you hard play it. But generally you don't want to, because you don't want to give your opponent a Tamer. And you just want to swing with level 5, and then you get the inheritable, you drop a Tamer, and you continue. But you can only run 4 of these, And every time you search and you see this, I suggest getting it because you can go up the chain with it. Now
Eos.
we go to our ultimate Eosmons. We are running 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. We are running 14 Eosmons. This one is a very basic, when you swing, you play another Eosmon. That is all it does, and then its inheritable is that you get 1000 DP. So when you go into your queen, it'll go ahead and give you, it'll make your queen 14, 15, 16, depending on how many you have under it. But basically, it's a swarm deck where you just want to swing, summon another one, and just keep going until like you flood the board with them. Combo here is like you would go here, Digivolve, so you won't pass over too much memory. You'd go ahead and swing with Eosmon, summon Eosmon, and then you would do your level 4 Eosmon effect, drop a tamer on your side, and then you just keep going. We'll go over a combo at the end once we go over through all the cards. But I mean, yeah, this is how many Eosmons are running. And then we go ahead and go to the queen. 4 Eosmons. It's hilarious what this card does. It is 5 to Digivolve, so it is pretty expensive. You could argue even running memory boost in this deck, just so when you do Digivolve into her, it's still your turn. There are ways where you start your turn at 5, depending on what the matchup is. But basically, when you Digivolve with her, depending on how many tamers are on each side of the field, that's how many Eosmons you'll get from your trash, and you will put it under her. And if you at least put 2 Eosmons under her, you can pop an opponent's Digimon. And then her secondary effect is she gains security +1 for every 3 Digi-evolutions under her. So if you have a baby all the way up to her, she'll get +1. So she's swinging for 2. But if you go, it's been a long game, you have a trash filled with Eosmons, you have 5 tamers on board, you Digivolve from a baby all the way up to her, you put 5 Eosmons until she can be hitting for 3 or 4. The bad thing about her is that it is 5 to Digivolve, and usually when you play her, it passes turn over. You pop something, it passes turn over, whatever. If it ever comes back to you and she's still on board with that huge swing, you're taking the entire security. Then we move on to options and tamers. So I run 2 needle sprays. Needle sprays has saved me a bunch of time in security. Still does in this deck. If they hit it, tap something, and then I can go ahead and tap a problem, swing over it with Eosmon. That's what needle spray is there for. You have your another good option card, which is Cutting Edge. When they hit this in security, you can go ahead and play an Eosmon from your hand, and then you can delete something on the board equal to that Eosmon's DP. So you can drop your 5k Eosmon or your 4k Eosmon, and just, your 6k Eosmon and your 4k Eosmon, and you can just delete what's on the board, whatever you see fit. And when they hit this in security, you just add another body on board, just for you to swing next turn as well. Run it at 4 of. I think you need 4 of them. I mean, you can arguably drop 1, add a memory boost. I mean, there's a lot of customization you can do with this deck, but I think 4 for right now is fine. Your main tamer, Manoa. You're going to be seeing this card a lot outside of Eosmon. So what she does is when you play an Eosmon, you can tap her, search the top 3 cards of your deck, add either a tamer or an Eosmon to your hand. But what makes her really good is during your opponent's turn, your opponent's tamers do not untap. So let's say you're going against Courage and they have Marcus on the field. They go ahead and swing with a Greymon. They tap the Greymon. And you have Manoa on the field. When it goes back to their turn, their Marcus doesn't unsuspend. So now that's less of an Agunimon that's coming after you. Let's say your opponent has Takumis on the board where they tap to get an extra draw for the Digivolve. Those don't untap. This is actually an insane tamer card just for that ability, and I wouldn't be surprised if you see it outside of Eosmon. Purple is a good candidate to have this card. It's one of the best cards in the deck. Next, we have two Ty and Marcuses. I'm sorry, Ty and Matt. Mainly is just another target for your level 4 Eosmon to drop. If your opponent ever does go to a level 6 and you have this on board, and then you have a Mano on board, boom, you've hit the magic number, you're at 5, you can go into your Eosmon and it'll still be your turn. I think 2 is fine. And then the last 2 is 2 Takumi Aibas. When you're Digivolving, you tap, you draw an extra card, and then it just slowly stops the Rookie Rush. But that is the deck profile for Eosmon. It is super fun to play. How viable it is, that'll just depend on the pilot. In my opinion, I think of Insane Mind and Pilot could do a lot of damage with this deck. But to show off a combo that I was talking about is, let's say you have Mano on the field, and then you have a stack with your level 5 Eosmon and your level 4 under it. Right, so a combo that you can do with this is obviously you swing with Eosmon. So you would do the effect of the bottom Eosmon to go ahead. Well, let's say you don't have a tamer, so you swing with Eosmon, right? You go ahead and play an Eosmon from your hand. Go ahead and play this Eosmon that allows you to play a tamer, but before that you would tap this, reveal the top 3 cards of your hand, and let's say you pull a Takumi, an Eosmon, and a Needle Spray. You go ahead and take the Takumi, and then you would do her ability, and you would drop your tamer. You know, there's definitely a lot you can do with this deck. I mean, I hope you guys enjoyed, and that's all I got.